welcome to Discussing Fitchburg Now. Our show here is going to be on the Longsjo Classic in its 56th year. This year, 2017, we're going to have the Longsjo Classic will be Saturday, June 24th in Leominster. It'll be a loop in downtown Leominster, 1 to 8 p.m. And then Sunday, June 25th, the Fitchburg Classic will be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And so tonight we're going to talk about the Longsjo Classic the whole time. And we have a large crew here that know all about it, right? We have the legendary Dick Ring, the announcer, Donn Ingemie of the Longsjo Classic, Laura Summers, the racer, winner in Leominster a few years ago, and Chris Bujold, who owns the Boulder Cafe, which is the place to be in Fitchburg.
Thank you.
All right, welcome everyone.
Nice to be here.
Thanks for coming on.
How's everything going?
Don, you have a happy birthday. You want to give?
I have a happy birthday to a special racer who is training for the Longsjo Classic in Naples as we speak. And today is Gage's 4th birthday, and he's down in Naples today racing and training just for the Longsjo Classic. So I want to give a shout out to Gage because he's training just for the race.
Well, happy birthday, Gage.
Happy birthday, Gage.
That's very thoughtful of you, Don. Well, welcome, everyone. All right. So, Longsjo Classic, 56 years. Is this your 56th year? Announce the race?
I rode it the first few, and then it was just by a fluke that Terry Longsjo came down. I was on the starting line on the front row because I had placed in the top 10 the year before. And she whispered in my ear, "Dick, we're in trouble." I said, "Terry, what's going on?" Well, he said, Norm never showed up, who was supposed to be the announcer. She says, "Anything you can do?" I said,
"So they had no announcer?"
No. So I said, "Can you stall him for about 5 minutes?" My car was right around the corner. So I get off the line, I'm still in my kit of clothing, and put the bike in the boot and walked up to the podium. And here we go.
And that's
and
it.
It was a beautiful, beautiful race. And that is what, started it. That's what got me underway as far as announcing is concerned. But I felt right at home. I had announced a few speed skating events, which we were involved in the winter. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
So you gave up your top 10 spot in the race
Terry and I and Art
else.
went back, before they were even married. Art and I traveled together when we were about 13 to 14 years old to nationals, and then we both got into cycling, into bicycle racing, and it just evolved from there. Just longtime friends.
So this Longsjo means a lot to you.
It certainly does. It certainly does. And it brings back some fond memories. So I was very, very fortunate. You don't feel bad because, different friends of yours. Right now I'm playing the last man standing with all my buddies that are in the ground. And the only thing you can do is just step back and say, I was very, very fortunate that I had them, 4 friends, and enjoyed their company. I don't want to hog this.
Well, we're continuing to try to honor everyone's memory of the Longsjo Classic by putting on this race, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So this year's race, right? It's sponsored by Rollstone Bank.
Rollstone Bank is, again, the premier sponsor. They're second to none every year. They step up to the plate. They just say, "Okay, here's the amount of the check. When do you want it deposited?" I tell you,
so they appreciate this community race.
Absolutely, they give back to the community, as well as the gentleman to my right, to your left on the camera, the owner of the Boulder. They put on the party, second to none, on the race, right on the course. And this year we're expanding it a little bit more. And I'm not even sure if Chris knows what we're doing for them for the race this year. We got some approval.
Well, he'll learn tonight.
Am I allowed to pretend like I know? Or?
It's going to be fun. So one of the reasons why we have the guests we have tonight is to try to get a perspective from different avenues. Dick being the historian, Laura being the champion, and we also have a business owner right on the course. So one of the things we'd like to do is find out what the race has meant to you, what it means to you, and what you think it means to you going forward. To get a different perspective for the audience, because sometimes they just come down and see a bunch of really good athletes ride like crazy and don't get the perspective from a champion and from a business owner. And Mr. Ring has more stories than we have hairs on our head and a memory that's second to none. So I wanted to be able to entertain the audience and make sure, obviously we'll tell them the scheduled events for the year, which is phenomenal this year. But I also wanted to get their perspectives. They drove up a couple hours drive to be here just to make sure your audience knew what the race is about and what it means to them.
Fantastic. All right.
Let me ask Chris one question.
Go ahead.
Last year, they changed the venues.
Yes.
And, of course, I had my own take on it when I saw the venue being changed at the final day. And they get up into the upper common. What was your thoughts on that when you heard that they were going to change, instead of being down at the
City Hall?
The City Hall, that they they wanted to move the finish line?
It was really exciting. I mean, there's a lot of energy on the upper common due to the viewing area being, dual. You're able to get them coming up and coming down. And we felt a little removed up there listening to your commentary from perhaps, 1,000 feet or more away. So it's good to have everybody up there, the podium, the energy, the racers, just the vibe. The vibe's very strong. So we're super appreciative of the movement up and the energy that comes with that.
Chris, I just couldn't believe the venue. It fell into place as far as the spectator is concerned. You're watching them come up one side, you see a breakaway, you don't know if they're holding the breakaway, they're up in the upper common, they're dropping down like a rocket down into the back straightaway, and all you got to do is turn your head. And then, of course, for the finish, when you added the other couple of 100 meters for the finish, that really, really put a lot of riders back in the game. They didn't want that short sprint. And, to me, it was a wonderful...
It changed the dynamic by moving it up and uphill, too, right?
I'm thinking Laura can comment on that one.
Well, it used to be that when you came in on the last turn, you knew you had so much room to get to the line. And when I heard they moved it, had no idea what to expect. And it was definitely different last year, because you don't see that finish for a long time, and then finally, bam, there it is. So it's a lot different. And the energy that you were talking about at the finish last year was incredible. I didn't know that there was the screen that was showing the backstretch. So my teammates actually were taking pictures of us on the backstretch, and they're like, look, we could watch you the whole way around. So it was very exciting, and I had no idea it was as exciting as it was for the spectators.
Laura, I want to jump in just for 2 seconds. Yeah. Now, you were mentioning about your teammates. When I went down to... was Leominster was the very first stage that you people changed the venue there.
Correct.
So I was with Richard Fries, and we were setting up, and I'm looking at it, I said, this is interesting. Now, I said, I took a look at the start sheet, I says, we had some heavy hitters here. This is a good field of riders. So they all lined up, Richard sent them off, the gun was fired. They went off the line, you gals went off the line, hit the first right-hand turn up by the church, and by the time you hit that church, you were full gas, full gas. That never backed off to the three-quarter mark.
No.
I'm waiting for a lull in the action. There was none. It was just, it was attack, counterattack, and I said, wow, man.
It went really fast.
What was your thoughts when we were in a field like that?
Well, that race, I remember, started really fast, and I was fortunate that I was near the front for the first 5 to 10 laps, because I remember thinking, thank God I'm here, because if I was back there, I'd be in a lot of trouble. And it was just going for a really long time. Finally, it settled in a little bit later. But it was, I was telling him earlier, when I first rode that new course, I was like, is there any point where I'm not turning? Because you go, the first stretch is, some straightaways, but then you turn. I'm like, there finally we get to the finish line. So it's very exciting. You can never doze off on that
You can't
course,
relax at all,
for
can you?
1 second. So
That's the idea.
And
that Leominster course has a lot of turns.
Yeah, that's the idea. Is we don't want them to we don't want just straight sprints. We want to be a little bit more technical, and that's what we did in Leominster, right?
Yes.
Richard Freeze and I shot the breeze with the police officers that were on the motos. We were laughing, and I said, what were your thoughts, guys, when you were going through that backstretch and all the chicanes? He said, this was a blast. They were scraping. They were scraping the bottom of the bike. And he said, then we're watching the riders. He said, whoa. He said, that was a scary deal.
They come down past the post office, take that quick left, and then the quick right.
It's scary. I was pretty impressed when they redesigned the course. We wanted to make sure that it was technical enough not to scare the riders, but technical enough to challenge them and be safe. Because we're all about safety with the riders and the pedestrians and the spectators. So we wanted to make sure it was okay. And then a couple of our guys on the board rode the course, and they said, this is going to be really hairy. It's going to be really hairy. Because when they were coming down Merriam Ave and take that little quick chicane, taking that turn, like you just said, it was a photo op on almost every peloton.
That's the place to stand.
Yeah, it is the place to stand.
That's the place to watch.
It is the place for sure. It's fun.
But also, speaking of what you were saying in the Upper Common in Fitchburg, being able to be at the Upper Common is a whole totally different dynamic. You can see the riders coming up. You're watching, and you watch them loop all back around. And then as they disappear down Boulder Drive, you're watching them on the Jumbotron. So you could see, and then you could see exactly when they're coming up around the turn, and you're like, there they are.
Yeah. That was the greatest thing when they come up with those Jumbotrons.
I know.
You go to a world championship, and they're all over a course.
Jumbotrons.
So, so everybody has a chance to see what's going on, and then it's lovely when all of a sudden they flying by and they come by so quick you think it was a streak of lightning. So, but Chris, it's right at your front door when they come by you.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely a crowd pleaser.
That place gets packed.
And
The Boulder Cafe
Let
gets
me tell
packed.
you what we're going to do for Chris this year. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. We got the approval from the city. We're going to put tables and chairs 1 car width off the sidewalk so we can expand your seating area. If you're looking at the boulder, to the left of it, we're also going to put stands, bleacher stands, and fence around it so people can have their drinks and watch the race in stands. And if you're standing at the boulder looking to the left towards the Rollstone boulder, we're also going to have 4 food trucks lined up. So now they can eat, drink, and watch the race. And right across the street, if they want to watch the whole course, the Jumbotron is there again.
So we got everything. We got
We
the
have
beer
everything.
garden, we got the food trucks, Jumbotron, the racing,
It's, in Wachusett Brewery, once again,
and the Longsjo Lager.
the Longsjo Lager. It was an amazing hit last year.
They
5
they
kegs.
sold out all their
They
kegs.
sold out everything
Goes
they brought.
quick.
Yeah, it goes really quick. And I don't drink
They
beer,
made
so I
a
wish I
beer
did.
just for the race.
Just for the race. Just for the race.
Isn't that awesome?
You're a pretty important guy.
And the food trucks we have a fancy grilled cheese truck called Say Cheese. We have William Southern Soul who's going to do a Southern barbecue. We got a Teddy's lunchbox. Yeah,
Interesting. So we have some good food to go with the good beer,
yes we do.
which
Laura,
is really cool.
what was your thought, Laura, when you're with the field of women riders when you were at Fitchburg and in through that section in the Upper Common? Then you've got the pit is right there with Butch Belzano
Yeah.
and his pit crew.
Oh, by
And
the
there's
post office?
There's so
Is that
much.
where everyone's throwing
there's
the
so
water?
much action
Yeah.
because the pit is set up. You could hit it from the home stretch at the top of the home stretch, or if you have a flat in the Upper Common right in front of Chris's,
Right.
instead of stopping to have a beer and cooling your jets, you can get down and get a wheel change and get back in the race. So
Efficiency.
that's an action spot.
We'll run you over a beer while you're doing that tire change.
Check his ID.
Yeah.
And this-
You didn't run into any problems, mechanical problems at all last year, did
Not
you?
last year, the year before when it was raining in Fitchburg.
Woohoo.
I had
Tough one.
That was a tough
I got a
one.
flat about 7 to go, and you only have until about 5 to go. So I got in, and the neutral support was fantastic, and they got a wheel in the nick of time, and I got back in there. So
You get back with
just
the
in
field?
time, yeah.
you know, one thing that people don't realize, the caliber of rider that this young lady is. And I've watched her for 6 years up at the track, and she's a phenomenal track rider. And because, you know, she'll tell you, she says, yeah, I'm not the fastest one out there. Yeah, but her strategy is phenomenal. She knows where to be, when to make a move.
Because it's not just about how fast you ride.
It's how smart you are.
And when you ride with a team, it's a whole other dynamic, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, my team has really kind of reinvigorated itself this year, and we have a big men's and women's team that'll be racing, as well as some of the masters and 3-4 racers that'll be racing this year. So it's really exciting to have people to work for and to be people to work with you, and it just makes it so much more interesting and exciting.
Tell us who your team is and what it stands for.
So my team is called Team E-Race, which stands for Everybody Ride and Run Against Cancer Every Day, which is a bike ride event in Avon, Connecticut, which is where we're out of. Which was started by a local orthopedic surgeon who unfortunately lost his wife to ovarian cancer. But while she was still alive, they started this event to promote healthfulness and to be aware of what your body is like when you're healthy. So if something goes wrong, you detect it a little bit faster and hopefully get a faster cure or a better chance for a cure. So we have all different length bike rides, and we have a running event, and we have some fancy cars that come to the event, and it's just a really great day in Connecticut. And so what our team does all year long is to promote this event, and also all of our prize money that we win is donated back to erace.org. And erace.org, their mission is to raise money for Livestrong Foundation and the Helen and Harry Gray Cancer Center, which is in Connecticut. So it's, for me, because I've been racing for 25 years now.
How can that happen?
I started young. But yeah, no, it's really adds another level to racing, and it makes it more, it's more than just riding a bike around in circles. And so to be able to give back and to help some people out, yeah, it's really exciting.
When was the first year you rode the Longsjo?
I think it was 94. I started racing in 93 when I went to Boston University. And so I came out to watch one year. And I think the next year they had 2 stages for Cat 4 women. So we got to do the crit and the circuit race. And I was a Cat 4 at the time, so we did that. And then the next year I got to come back and do the whole stage race. And I did that a few years as a 4, a few years as a 3.
Was
and
that
then
just
eventually
solo?
with the pros. I'd have teammates here and there, yeah, different. I mean, I kind of moved around over the years and had different teams that I rode with. And yes, the stage race was really hard and hilly, and I'm happy that it's crits. I'm very happy with that. So I think
the crit is great for the audience.
Oh, absolutely. It's
because
so
you can
much
just go
more.
right to your own city and watch the professional bike races.
Every
right
minute
in
and a
your
half.
downtown.
Every minute and a half.
Yeah, every minute and a half they come by. Yeah. It's amazing.
Can I talk
to
about the
watch.
kids' races too? Because I have kids now. I have kids. Yeah, I have kids now, and they race, and they've done the kids' races, and it's so exciting. It's scarier to watch them race than it is for me to race. But
How old are your kids?
Mine they're almost 9 and 11.
So they do the full lap.
Yes. Yeah. And it just gets everybody involved, and it gets the kids out, and to see the great turnout of kids races you've had at the different events over the years is really, really exciting, and I just keep that up.
Oh yeah, so the kids races are free to sign up. You can go to longsjo.com and click on the kids registration. You can register your kids right in advance. You can also register the day of. Kids races are free for everyone, and they're in different categories. Everyone from the little preschooler with the
3
trike,
to 4 year olds
with the big wheel, right?
Yeah.
To what does it go up to? 14?
14.
Yeah.
14
Yep,
years
12 to
old.
14, yep.
And the 14-year-olds, they do two full laps.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can really grow into this race every year.
And
do a little bit farther.
Sure.
A little bit farther
And they
until
get
you
older.
finally get to do one full lap.
Yeah.
Well, the key to that, I believe, is probably what you're leaning towards is at a young age, they understand the health and wellness benefits of riding, not just necessarily racing, but riding a bike and the benefits they get from it, as opposed to these little scooters and all these powered things.
Yeah.
They get like the old school.
You bring them to the race. They get to see all the racers. They get to ride their bikes with their friends.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
And every child gets a medal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the medals are fun.
Every child gets a medal.
Yeah, the medals are really cool.
Which is a perfect segue. Thank you for bringing up the kids. This year, we have a deal with Diamondback Cycles. Okay, and they sent us 30 bicycles. And there are 3 different levels, 3 different size bikes.
Yep.
And we're giving away all 30 bicycles to kids, all the underprivileged kids, and all the low-income kids in town that need bikes.
Any kid that needs a bike,
Absolutely.
the YMCA of Leominster and Fitchburg are handling it.
Right. So we've joined teams with Diamondback and the local YMCA's. So now all the kids can go to the local Fitchburg and Leominster Y, put their registration in for a raffle, and they can possibly win a bike and a free bike for the summer. So.
And these
parents,
bikes are fancy. The Diamondback.
Yeah, they're
they
pretty
look
nice
really
bikes.
cool. They're the Venom and the Junior Venom and the Mini Venom or the Micro Venom.
It was funny. I was talking to Brad Huff, who's the national champion, road champion.
Oh, he's the Diamondback guy.
He's
right?
a Diamondback guy. That's one of his sponsors.
Yep.
And I told him, we were talking, I said, yeah, Diamondback helped us out with the kids' bikes. Right away, post it on Facebook. I want to share it. So he's sharing it all over the world about Diamondback, giving bikes to the, for the Longsjo.
Brad Huff is the one that won the men's race
Oh,
last year and lapped the whole field.
He's an
what
incredible athlete.
What a race he put in.
Yeah.
Wow.
An incredible athlete.
I've never seen that.
He's at another level. I've never seen that either. I don't know if you have.
Yeah.
Dick's seen
Let me
it
tell you a
all.
real quick story. Jeff Slack, he came from down in the Burlington area, and his dad, he owned a bike shop. Graham Miller came from New Zealand. Now, Graham Miller was the hottest thing, during the 70s. And Graham Miller was kind of the bully of the team. What he said, everybody did. And so this one day, they come to Fitchburg. And Jeff is talking to me before the race. He says, yeah, that doggone Miller. He comes up to us and he says, I'm going to win today. I says, and I know you're teed off. What's your thoughts? He said, Ringer, you watch this one. The gun was fired. Jeff Slack come out of that field like a scalded rabbit. That was the last they ever saw of him. He lapped the field.
Immediately,
And then
he was gone?
Immediately. He lapped the field because he said he didn't want to have any of this deal, that if Miller got away, he would have had to back off and work for him. He said,
Right.
I'm hitting it first.
That's a strategy.
Oh, and he did.
Right.
What a race that was. So,
Did he end up?
yeah, he won.
He maintained it for an hour?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He
tough.
lapped the field.
That's tough.
That's not how I do it.
So, needless to say, that Miller was not a happy camper at the end of the day, because he figured he was going to put another notch on his saddle.
Uh-huh.
Not to be.
It's tough to watch 1 liter for an hour. Let alone race it. I don't know how they do it.
But that's a tough deal when you get out. Laurel will tell you, you get out in a break, and you've got 3 or 4 people. You've got to go right to the wall. Mm-hmm. There's no backing off. Laurel.
Right to the wall. That means push it as hard as you got?
Oh,
Pretty much.
Jesus. Laura, you must have been in many, many breakaways over the years.
I like to sprint. I'm more of the field sprinter, but I've been at a few, and yeah, it's never, well, maybe once a solo break, but when you're by yourself, you got no one to work with. If you're in a group, at least you can rotate through and kind of take turns, so you get at least a little bit of a rest. But when you're going hard. So yeah, it's a tough way.
Sprinting is not giving it your full gas.
Sprinting is kind of hanging out with the field and waiting, hoping it comes down to a field sprint, and so then
Then you all go together.
yes, and you hope that you're the fastest and you start from the right position, and hopefully you have a teammate who can give you a good lead out and get you up close to the line so you don't have to go into the wind or anything like that. So it's a lot of chess.
Yeah.
Very fast-paced
That's
chess.
where she's savvy on the track.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do.
She's incredible. She'll never. She's just incredible. She's an incredible racer. She's in all different formats of the bike of cycling. It's not just crits.
I don't go uphill.
There's a lot to learn.
But-
every year that you go to the Longjo, you learn a little bit more.
Yeah, but
Especially
Sam,
if
you're
you
getting
listen to
there.
Dick.
Look at,
You're a big girl now with your bike.
I'm getting bigger.
The basket's kind of the wind.
You amaze me, Sam. I've watched you for the last few years, and I swear you're cloned. You are everywhere
I've been saying
at
that
a venue.
for years.
And you're always there to help somebody. Somebody's in trouble, and all of a sudden, Sam's behind him. Yeah, well, here's how we're going to handle this, whatever. So, and she's been a big help to you, Don.
I couldn't, and the team couldn't perform how we perform without feet on the street, because the majority of us who run the race don't live anywhere near the race. I'm on the East Coast. I'm near the water. We have one in Utah, one in Long Island, one in Vermont. And without Sam's help locally, a quick example is to pick up the flyers for the children to be picked up from the printer and then to be distributed to all the schools so all the kids have them to bring them home.
Yep.
Without Sam, we wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, without the volunteers that we have
Oh.
at the Longjo, we wouldn't be able to put on this race, right? We're also recruiting volunteers. You can go to longsjo.com, click on the volunteer link, and you can volunteer in Leominster and in Fitchburg as a crossing guard, as a course marshal, or at the registration tables.
And you get fed, you get a shirt,
Yep.
which is another segue, thank you. For the volunteers, I have to shout out to Subway. Local Subways donate every year, and this year they're donating a couple hundred boxes per day for the race. So that means all the volunteers,
And the
all the
sandwiches
officials.
are pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's
They
a
got
box.
a cookie.
And the food is good.
Yeah, it's
I
really
mean,
good.
all the people that are working the race, man,
No,
they're
the Fitchburg
starving, and
Subway
all of
on
a
Ray
sudden,
Ave.
they
They
get some.
donate all the time. They
Yeah.
are a great place to support.
So a shout out to Pat Lonnie for every year he just says how many sandwiches you need and what time.
Yep.
And he's just to have people like that, sponsors like that support the race, it just makes.
What-
I get to sleep some nights.
What got you involved in the race? How did you happen to?
Don got me. Don. He's like, Sam, hey, you want to help out with the Longjo? It's like, yeah,
Little
sure.
did she know. Little did she know.
Any way I can. Next thing you know, Sam. But that's how we get involved.
You know, I felt bad one year. Alan Cote and Donn, they picked up the pieces from a promoter that was going to do all kinds of wonderful things for Fitchburg, and he bailed probably about a week before the race.
Uh-huh.
So I got a call from Alan, and the following, on a Tuesday before Fitchburg started, we would have the race in Exeter, New Hampshire, which you probably raced in that a good many years. And I said, well, so I was in a position where I had the mic. I was helping Richard do the announcing. So all the pros lined up. I said, guys, what do you think of Fitchburg? Pretty good race, huh? You get two guys that brought it out of the ashes. And I said, now they're running into a problem. They need your help because the entries aren't coming in as fast as they would like, and they don't know if they're going to, eat their shirt before they get through with this.
Right.
I said, if you guys want this to continue with the time and effort, I said, I know what's going on behind the scene with these two. They're killing themselves day and night, 24 hours a day, trying to get this thing off the ground. I got a call, that was on a Tuesday night, Wednesday, from Alan. Ringer. Yeah, what's up? He said, what the hell did you do? I said, well, just made the riders aware of your efforts and Don's efforts. I said, why? How things going? Oh, man, he says, absolutely phenomenal.
Oh,
and it was
good.
almost like they got a shot of adrenaline.
Like, we need your help.
Now they were ready to go.
That's that's how you get volunteers. You ask.
That's like Chris. All of a sudden, somebody realizes he's on the face of the earth.
And we want to keep him on the face, by the way.
He's gonna have a fun time.
Speaking of volunteers, we're going to cut to a few PSAs and then we'll come back to our Longjo show.
cut?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got like a...
It's funny to ask, did we cut if we weren't, if we didn't cut.
Hi, I'm here with Shirley Jeffreys, an organizer of the Juneteenth event at Riverfront Park.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So Juneteenth this year is Saturday, June 17th. And this is from 12 to 6 p.m. at Riverfront Park. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of Juneteenth?
Well, Juneteenth started back in 1865 with the Emancipation Proclamation, where the slaves were freed. Actually, the emancipation was in 1863 when President Abraham Lincoln signed the proclamation. But they wasn't aware of it until this was in Galveston, Texas. They were not aware that they were free for 2 years. And once they became free, it was on June the 19th, they started a celebration.
So they found out that they were actually free
Yes.
June 19th, 1865.
Yes, and they started the celebration to just commemorate their freedom. We celebrate July the 4th here in America as Independence Day, but also the African American wanted to celebrate their independence from slavery on June 19th.
So this is a fun event that you hold every year at Riverfront Park,
Yes.
at least for the past few years that I've
Past few
remembered.
years, yes.
There's face painting, there's bouncy houses, you got food, there's
Yes.
like snow cones and stuff, so it's a fun time.
A fun time.
Yeah.
We will also have some awareness with our fire department, the Fitchburg Fire Department, also with another group that will assist the children, letting them know, that they can have their fingerprints done. So if things happen, and, children are very important to us. They are a heritage of the Lord. That's what the scripture says. And they're very important, and they're our future, all of our future. So we want to make sure that they're aware of certain things and their safety. And it also, we'll have this at the festival to assist.
There's a lot of vendors. There's
A lot of vendors.
recovery vendors, church
Yes.
vendors, all sorts
They
of
will be
different...
singing and
all sorts of
all
different,
sorts of
people
different
there.
things. Yes, yes.
And
So
there's music.
music. Yes.
Who's playing this year?
Well, we have different groups of singers and dancers, and we have a steel drum, drummers, and different types of entertainment this year.
Excellent.
So we're excited.
So you're from the New Hope Community Church in Ayer.
Yes.
Yes.
I
And
am.
so Juneteenth is Saturday, June 17th, 12 to 6 p.m. at Riverfront Park in Fitchburg. This is open to all,
Open
and
to
it's
all.
free.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Free.
Great. Anything else that you'd like to add, Shirley?
Just we want the community to come out and be a part and enjoy yourselves. It's going to be a fun day, and we want to continue this. And the proceeds will go to our Hope Center, which we did have here in Fitchburg, but it burned.
Yes.
Amen. And it burned in 2015, and but we're rebuilding, and so we're looking forward to having the community come out
So all the proceeds for this event go to the Hope Center.
to the Hope Center project.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Shirley.
You're welcome.
Hope
Thank
to see
you for
all
having
at
me.
Juneteenth.
Yes.
Thank you. Hi, I'm here with Meredith Garrity of New View Communities and Reimagine North of Maine.
Hi.
We're talking about the neighbor ups and all the fun things that we're doing this summer with Reimagine North of Maine, right?
Yep, so Reimagine North of Maine is really excited because this summer we're going to be hosting a series of events that we're calling Neighbor Ups.
Neighbor ups.
Neighbor Ups. And we kicked off our series of events a couple weekends ago on
May
May
13th,
13th.
the big
Exactly.
cleanup.
We did
Yeah.
a big cleanup with Ward 4 and 5. All of these activities, all these neighbor ups are designed to help neighbors get to know each other and help people take care of their neighborhood and help people feel good about where they live.
Yeah, so this is mostly focusing in the North of Maine neighborhood.
Well, it's all the events will take place in the North of Maine neighborhood, but the great thing about this is you don't have to be a resident of North of Maine to enjoy these events. We would love people from Fitchburg, from Leominster, from everywhere to come out and see the North of Maine neighborhood because we think it's pretty cool, but you don't have to be a resident to enjoy these events.
Of course. So we're going to have the National Night Out. in early August.
August 1st, we're going to have a block party on Marshall Street. We're going to try to help promote people to learn how to vote. We're going to...
A mock voting booth?
A mock voting booth. We're going to teach about safety, and we're going to be on Marshall Street just grilling and having a good time.
What else do we have for neighbor apps?
So we're going to work with Habitat for Humanity to help people, some people build their homes and some people build their fences. We're going to host a couple block parties. We're partnering with Highland Baptist Church in the College neighborhood to host a couple more block parties. And we're going to end it all with a real big bash. We did this last year with Porch Fest.
Ah, the Porch Fest.
Porch Fest. It's a musical festival that highlights local talent in local places. So
we'll be able to go from place to place at different times with different bands.
Yes, porches, storefronts will become venues, and local residents will become performers, and we'll just have a good time.
I came last year. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right, so if you want to get involved, volunteer, or join the events, how do we find out more information?
Great. So you can check out our website. We're going to have it on newviewcommunities.org. We'll have a section for the neighbor ups. Or you can check out either of our Facebook pages, New View Communities or Reimagine North of Maine. Keep your eyes peeled for emails. Keep your eyes peeled for flyers. And you can always contact me with questions.
Meredith Garrity of New View Communities and Reimagine North of Maine.
Great.
Thanks so much.
Well, look forward to seeing you there.
Okay. See ya. Welcome back to DFN. We have our Longsjo show. We're back with Dick Ring, Donn Ingemie, Laura Summers, and Chris Bujold of the Boulder.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're talking about the Longsjo Classic. We're back talking about that. Now let's talk about some of the other aspects that we might not have covered, like perhaps the Longsjo Legends Ride. That's new as of last year,
As
right?
of last year, that's new. It's not a competition. It's a Legends Ride where we bring in some of the previous winners. We've asked them to come in, and we have a 50-mile and a 100-mile ride. And
That sounds like a lot.
not for these guys. That's 50 miles a lot. Okay, for an hour.
All right.
She might miss a snack for an hour.
And it goes up. It goes downtown Fitchburg. It starts at the start line.
It starts at the start-finish line. It goes through Ashby and Townsend, Lunenburg.
Goes up to New Hampshire.
Yep, and it comes all the way back down around. And this year, Alan Cote, our race director, has hooked up with Wachusett Brewery and the Minuteman Bike Club, and they are bringing 250, 300 more riders for the ride. So we anticipate, which, by the way, was the impetus for me to go to the city to get approval to expand Chris's seating capacity.
Because we're going to have more people.
We could accommodate that many more people.
And we've scheduled the Legends Ride such that they come back right at the time of the
elite riders, right before the elite riders.
The elite,
both
elite
female
women.
and male.
It's because the women go first, right?
Correct.
So they're back in time to see the elite women.
Which is
1, 2, 3. Is that what we say, or is it 1, 2? Women's
Category 1, 2 pro.
1, 2 pro.
Yeah. Usually, that's what they usually do.
Yep. I'm still learning.
Yeah, you and me both. I know these things have 2 round wheels and they go fast with pedals, and
So the Legends Ride is open to all riders.
Anybody who wants to participate. I'm not sure what the entry fees are, but you can go to longsjo.com and click on Legends, Longsjo Legends, and you can register right online. We anticipate a large crowd just for that ride this year.
Who did we have leading that last year? We had an Olympian, didn't we?
Yeah, what was her name? She came down from Canada.
Oh,
A former champion.
yeah.
Yes.
She ended up winning the race 4 times.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Longjo race. Alan Cote knew her personally and asked her to come down. So she came down, and she's unable to make it this year. She has-
Laura?
No, this is Laura.
Oh, there's another. There's a couple. There's a couple
Timmy.
Laura's.
A couple Laura.
But only one really needs it, right?
Yeah, it's Timmy Johnson's wife.
Oh, Lynn Bissett.
Lynn Bissett.
Lynn Bissett.
Lynn
That's
Bissett.
it.
That
Lynn
sounds
Bissett.
right.
What a class act.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about a gal that really
Oh, yeah.
did a lot for the sport of women's cycling.
So she came down and she led the Legends ride last year. And I'm not sure who we're going to get this year to lead off the ride. But it's pretty exciting, and we're going to have so many people involved in it this year.
And that's a huge pack that goes.
That's a huge pack that goes. I well, anticipate probably your race has what, maybe your field's 60, 70?
Yeah.
Okay. So imagine 200-300 leaving the starting line at one time.
That'll be cool to see.
It's pretty exciting. And one of the other things I want to bring up, which I think is really important for all the people that are watching, we just had Veterans Day and celebrated for our veterans. We're going to have a really big veterans tribute this year. We're going to invite all the veteran organizations in the state of Massachusetts, invite them to come. So it's going to be a tribute to them and their families. And we have a special guest coming in. I'm not going to tell you her name yet, but we have a special guest coming in, and she's going to drop down and make everyone do 22 push-ups.
Aha! So we're all going to do 22 push-ups.
Everyone's going to do 22 push-ups. The camera
And
won't
we
be on
will.
me, so
Everyone will.
everyone will. And the idea is to create the awareness.
Maybe at the Boulder they.
The idea is to create the awareness of what the significance is of 22 push-ups. You know, knowing that 22
Then
veterans
Chris is going to give you a beer.
create suicide each night, each day. So it's creating awareness for that and helping the veterans trying to get the support they need. So that's
a great addition to the race.
That's a great addition to the race. And right after that, we'll have a star, local star, Amanda Cote, or she calls it Cody, sing the national anthem.
She calls it Cody.
Yeah, she calls it Cody. And actually, Ellen Cote and Amanda Cody, we both have 2 Codys and 2 ACs now.
Yes.
So now we're a little confused on the board who we're talking about.
Yeah,
So
Amanda Cody, she'll be singing the national anthem in both Leominster and Fitchburg.
Correct. Correct.
Is
And
it any relation to Alan?
No, not at all.
And Amanda Cody also does an open mic at Legends in Fitchburg every Wednesday night.
I hear.
Yeah, right around starts around 7 p.m.
She's great.
Yeah, she was suggested to me from a local talent agent, and I happened to go see her. I was in the area north of Boston and Danvers, and I stopped in. She didn't know who I was, and I just sat at the bar, had my water and lemon, and nice. And I applauded after every song, and then I walked up and I just gave her my Longsjo card. I thought it was you. I thought it was you.
She's a fan.
She's a very talented singer. So
She's great. She's come on my show before.
yeah, we have some good talent coming to that with the kids race, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Mayor's Charity Ride.
Yes.
This is really important for
Where
the
we get
Fitchburg Leominster
Mayor
residents.
Dean Mazzarella of Leominster and Mayor Stephen DiNatale of Fitchburg to ride together.
It's going to be cool. And last year we had a race, and it wasn't so cool because one's more of an athlete than another.
It's every mayor won in their own city.
Absolutely. How'd that
It was
happen?
such a shocker.
So this year what we're doing is we're having a Mayor's Charity Ride. And they're going to take one lap, and I think we're giving them 20 minutes to take one lap. We might end up pulling them, too. But we want it to be almost like a campaign. They're going to stop, kiss kids, and,
they're going to hold babies.
And hold babies. And if you, they're going to do all that stuff. We're going to have a film crew following them. FATV is going to be following them, which is going to be really
like
cool.
A GoPro?
A GoPro. And they're going to have someone with them holding a bucket to collect cash. And now remember,
great.
it's a charity ride. So if you go to, again, longsjo.com, hit the Mayor's Charity Ride, there is a GoFundMe page for each mayor. And the mayor that gets the most, it's a competition financially, not on the course. So the mayor that gets up the most money over $5,000 wins a trophy and bragging rights that they can put in their city hall for the year.
Wow.
Okay, and
So donate. So you can go to longsjo.com
and
go
vote,
to the Mayor's Charity
absolutely.
Ride and vote with your dollars.
And vote with your dollars for the
your
mayor
city.
of your choice. Okay.
And Fitchburg, I'm just going to say Fitchburg.
And what's really important to say and to note, 100% of that money is for charities that the mayors choose within their cities.
Yep.
So every penny that you donate for this charity ride goes right back to the community for shelters and for outreach centers and stuff like that.
So start calling your mayors as well and lobbying.
Start calling your mayors, but go to longjo.com, go to the mayor's charity ride, and donate on the GoFundMe page. You have a couple weeks to do that, but cheer for your mayor.
Yep. And speaking of FATV following them around, the FATV makes this race just a leagues beyond what it would be
Second to
without
none.
them. And Fitchburg.
Second to none.
We have the Jumbotron, thanks to FATV. They have the lap counter. The coverage. What do we have? What do we have? 5 cameras along the course?
I think 7.
7 cameras? We have cameras all around the course
Which
with dedicated
allows-
volunteers that go all day
Which allows
long.
people to sit at the Jumbotron and watch the entire race because the entire race is covered by FATV.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
And it's broadcast worldwide.
Yeah. And
So all the riders and their families all across the world can go to fatv.org and watch the race live.
Live. It's pretty exciting. FATV does a great job, and they have for decades.
Mm-hmm.
So thumbs up to FATV, even the little cutie behind the camera.
You know, it's something that a lot of towns that you've got your parents that are trying to find activities for their youngsters. And here, you people have created an event that the nearest thing to that is watching your cycling on TV, a big full-blown stage race or whatever.
Like the Tour de France.
Yeah, and you can walk out your door, make your way down to the center of town, and you as a mom or dad, you don't have many shekels the way things are going these days. And the thing is that you can go down and enjoy a sporting event. What's it cost you? A little time and effort to go down and watch it.
Basically, everything's free.
Exactly.
All it's going to cost you is
Then-
food, and you could bring your own if you wanted.
If
But
your
we'll
kid-
have food trucks and beer.
Sam, if your kid gets excited, and maybe not this year, maybe next year, he sees all the kids' races,
Oh, yeah.
which
I got me
Donn and you guys,
I got a medal.
yeah,
Right?
Donn
All the
and you
kids
guys,
get little racing bibs. It's the cutest thing ever.
this is your base. Laura will tell you this. If you don't have a broad base at the bottom, you've got nothing at the top.
When you say broad base, you mean families with children.
Like the kids' races, this is where you start to groom the riders. It's a fun day for them. And then they get hooked on the sport of cycling. Now you're going to pull out some champions that are going to represent the United States in international competition.
Homegrown from Fitchburg and
Yeah,
Leominster.
exactly. How do you think Art got there?
Yeah.
How did Art get started into racing?
There was a fellow in town, Alex Gogan. Now, I don't know if you people realize that years ago, this whole deal started because of speed skating. Leominster, with Jackson Perry, who is the Parks and Recreation Director, had a speed skating team. That's where Art Longsjo, Delisle Brothers, there were a lot of riders, a lot of skaters up here. And this is where it all started. Then Alex Gogan went with Jackson Perry to Pittsfield, Mass., and then they all migrated to Pittsfield. And Art stayed wherever Alex Gogan went, so did Art. Alex Gogan was a brilliant, brilliant tactician and phenomenal as far as putting together training programs. And he had Art doing things that nobody even thought of. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes with the pair of them. And Art would never have been the athlete that he was without the assistance of Alex Gogan.
Interesting.
And the Gogan family, one of the brothers, was it Clarence? Was a trumpet player in the Boston Symphony? And, you know, gave lessons. And then he had another brother, Gerard. Gerard was the one that was the musician. But they came from a fantastic family.
We had Peter Gogan on our show over the winter, right?
Over the winter, yeah.
Did you really?
And he had won the race as well. I believe he's the youngest.
He was the youngest
To ever
Oh,
ever.
he
win.
was a junior. Still,
Yeah.
you know, basically a junior rider.
And he won the pro. He
That
won the elite
day,
event.
he took off with a friend of his, this Chris White. The two of them There were 4 riders up the road. The 2 of them broke out of a chase group, bridged across, caught the 4 riders, and just as they caught them, Peter took off. Chris was not going to chase because he would have brought the other up to him.
So he kept the others back.
Then Peter Gogan, right across from us, his dad was giving him all the information, lap after lap. And finally, his dad was telling him, you've got yourself, 18-second gap, and it's growing. And all of a sudden, he stretched it out and pulled it off. But that was an amazing thing to watch. 2 junior riders catching a break that went up the road, and then Peter was able to get away and win the race.
Sure.
And then junior gears, juniors aren't allowed to ride on quite as big of a gear as senior racers.
So it makes it even harder.
So they have to spin their legs much faster to keep up. So it's actually a really helpful tool to help kids develop and not blow out their knees, kind of like Little League pitchers can only pitch so much. But they really learn how to be really efficient riders. That's why some of the riders that you've seen come up through the juniors are so talented and strong because they know what they're doing.
Because they have to really push it.
Wow.
It's even more impressive when a kid can win. Actually, our last year, I'm trying to think if Emma White was still in junior years. But Emma White and Ella Noble were both very young last year, and 2 of the 3 that were dominating the races. And probably
I think one won in Worcester and then one won in Fitchburg.
Ellen's incredible. She's an incredible rider.
Yeah.
She destroyed the industry last year in almost every event.
And Emma White's brother won?
Yes.
Curtis,
Talented family.
Yeah, very talented family.
Very good gene pool.
But you think about something that, we talk about what you 2 are doing for the youngsters race. You're making it available so they can get on a starting line at a younger age, participate, have fun, win some nice medals, and then get hooked on the sport. That's where these youngsters started.
Yeah, and it is a good sport to get into. Everyone is healthy.
It's phenomenal.
Right? One of the things that really draw me to it, makes it exciting for me, is when I bring an adult to a race for the first time, and they see the lower cats. The 3s, 4s.
Oh, I could do that.
Yeah, but they see how, wow, and then they see the elite. They're like, holy cow!
Yeah. It is such a difference.
The athleticism that it takes to race in these races, it's just mind-boggling. I figuratively bow down to people like that. Laura, I don't do it.
Can you literally?
But the athleticism and the dedication, because I've been online with you at 10 at night. I got to go to bed. I'm on the rollers first thing in the morning, the training rollers.
Yeah.
And she goes, I'm starting at 5:30. Whatever. And it's like 5.
Let's be very clear. It's 5.
So it's like, to be a professional in another business, to have children, to have a husband and kids, and to have that dedication to a sport. I literally admire what you do and how you do it. It's phenomenal.
I will say that for me, my time limits are so much shorter than before I had kids. And when I was riding in college, I could just go for 3 and 4 hour rides. And now, no. That does not happen. Yeah. So for me, the criterium is just so much more appropriate. And so I could train really hard for an hour, maybe 2 hours, and that gets me ready for an hour and a half race. So this kind of racing is, I've seen a lot of women who have, done a lot of the same things I have that have been racing and had kids, and I always try to encourage them, you can still do it. You don't have to go do stage races like you used to. You can still come and do shorter races. So I love that there's an opportunity for us to stay involved.
And segueing off that, in Fitchburg, we have an opportunity for amateurs to race as well, correct?
Yes.
The first race is, do we call it the amateur race? What do we call it?
Well, it's just a category, a lower category.
Category 5?
But your 5s are your entry level.
Entry level.
And
so
then
you can enter that race.
When you get
anyone can enter that
anybody.
race.
Then eventually you get enough points to move up into the 4s, the 3s, and then eventually if you have any designs on going further in the sport, you can get some help and go with a club that will help groom you.
But you can start by entering the race.
The
Okay,
kids
right in
race, that's where they
The
start.
kids race. He's right on.
You can,
The kids.
and then, well, this is for the adults. You can start racing when you're an adult by entering the race right at Longsjo. You can do it, and then for kids, obviously.
And that's what we're doing. We're
you
planting
can
the
start.
seeds
You
with
can
kids.
you can register for free, all your children, and you can get them involved. And then from there, say your kids are interested. Say they race and they're like, "Mommy, I want to do it just like you." How do you get kids into racing?
So I have to go back to talking about Connecticut. There's a great program that's going on in Connecticut called the Connecticut Cycling Advancement Program, and they are doing just that. And they have put several years already into making this happen, and we have, I don't even know the numbers. We have about 10, 12 different teams of kids across the state that are learning to race. And I'm actually helping we have a junior team, and my older son is on it, and it's really, really gratifying to teach them and to see them. And last night they had a training race just for the kids, and for the first time we had a little group of riders that was working together as a pack, and like the parents and the coaches, we were all so excited. We're like, they look like real racers now. They look so good. So there's some really nice programs out there, and I know there's some in Massachusetts as well that are teaching the kids, helping supply the equipment, because it's a really expensive sport to get into. So we're trying to rotate the bikes and the shoes and the helmets as they grow in and out of different sizes.
So you want to get together with a group?
You kind of need, a group of people, and even like everything's online, you can kind of pass things around and, share bikes, and but you need the people who are teaching the kids too, and you need to have the events. So, I'll be lobbying you guys to have longer junior races soon.
That sounds good.
She's lobbying.
Hey, I'm open.
That's what I do.
But this is where it all starts, with you two running kids races.
Yep,
And you were
absolutely.
full bore last year at each venue. And Richard and I were talking, look at the amount of youngsters that are turning out for these kids races. And we're looking at one another.
Awesome.
These are your future champions, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah.
You make this remark that these are your future Olympians. They are. They got to come from somewhere.
That's right.
You get your broad base at the bottom.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you might know, I think we had over 250 kids last year.
Yes.
Yes.
And the year before in the
Lemons-
rain,
Yeah.
There was
the year before in
none
the rain totally blew my mind. 'Cause
They
it
were
was-
almost talking about canceling the kids' race because it was so
It was
awful.
torrential, it was
It's like,
cold, it was
no,
windy.
we can't do that. If the kids want to race in the rain,
But
we
we
let
had
them race.
70 kids
They
come out
packed,
for the
They packed the line.
And I wasn't sure
It's
who was
awesome.
crazier, the parents or the kids. I think it was a fine line between that. But the kids had a ball.
Oh, it was awesome.
They had a ball.
They
They
don't
didn't
care
care about the
for
weather.
wet.
You're
Yeah.
right. They don't care about the weather.
I love it.
The parents, on the other hand, were like, "You really want to do this? Yeah. You really want to do this?"
Yep.
You know what? I'd like to get, if we could, a little perspective from Chris on what it's like, what the race has meant over the years. He's owned his business, I think he said 13 years.
13
Well,
years.
I can tell you this: we have 1 minute left in the show.
Okay.
All right, so we can
It's yours,
structure
Chris.
the end.
Go.
Chris,
however
tell us
we wanna
what the
do
race
it.
means to you in Fitchburg.
I think the race means a lot to Fitchburg and downtown in bringing a venue vibe to the common, the entire Main Street neighborhood, and bringing people that may not spend enough time downtown. Maybe they use it as a throughway. Give them an opportunity to see it in a different perspective and surrounded by people that aren't from around here as well, and see their perspective, and
People come
it's
from
refreshing.
all around the country.
Yeah.
So every day is a great day at the Boulder, but the Longsjo is an amazing day at the Boulder. So.
Fantastic. And you'll be able to come and join Chris and everyone else at the Boulder Sunday, June 25th in Fitchburg. And the races start at 8:30 a.m. and they
Right.
go all the way to 5 p.m. And then in Leominster, it's the day before, it's Saturday, June 24th from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. We have a twilight race in Leominster, and that's really cool to see. So you want to come to both races, Leominster, Fitchburg, June 24th, June 25th. You want to register your kids. And to find more information, you can go to longsjo.com and Longsjo on Facebook. Thank you, everyone, for coming on.
Thanks for having us.